All right, welcome. Thanks for coming over today. Good to have you here in the library. My name is Dana. I am a reference and instructional librarian here at GGC. So you may see me throughout your career here at GGC. Has anybody ever had a library instructional class before? All right, so there's a couple. Oh, you have. There's a couple things I always like to tell you guys as we're getting started. I do recommend maybe you've been to the library webpage before. Maybe you've used some of the databases. I do recommend that you use the Google Chrome browser. It just syncs up better and plays better with our databases. So if it gets kind of glitchy and you're using an alternate browser, try switching it out, and that should self-correct. One other thing that can often happen is when you go in and use a database, sometimes you will get an error message. It will actually say error, and it'll have kind of like an orangey screen. If that happens, go in and erase the cookies and history on your device, and you clear that cache out, and you'll be in. Okay. One other thing that can happen, and this happens to me periodically, I have tons of GGC windows up and going, and I don't log out of GGC. So sometimes it just creates this interface where you have to close the windows, log out, and log back in, and then you're good to go. So those are just common things that happen. Use Google Chrome, erase your cookies in your history, potentially close your windows, log out, log back in, and you shouldn't have any issues as far as that goes. If you need a device, I do have a laptop cart in the back. You might want to follow along as we're going along. And if we start searching in a database, maybe go ahead and most of you guys have your topics already picked out. Go ahead and start looking around in that database. See if you can find some information on your topic and get a head start on that. The first thing I'm going to do today is start with the GGC Library webpage if you're following along. So I just recommend that you Google GGC Library, okay? Once you get there, the GGC Library webpage will pop up. I do always like to go over the fact that on the left-hand side, our library hours will always be posted. So you can go in and see what the hours are. I like to point that out because I know the majority of our students here commute, and I would hate for you to be coming to the library and not know what the hours are. Always go in and check our GGC Library webpage as opposed to Google. This will always be more accurate. So go in and check that out. Also, below the library hours, you'll also see where it says online library help. This is the opportunity to get help online. Generally, when these hours are posted, there's a librarian logged into that. In order to access that, you'll see on every web page that we have in the library, we have this little chat icon. We just switched librarians, so that librarian hasn't logged in yet. But generally, this will be activated green right now because those are the hours of the chat. And you can go in and talk with that librarian online. Let's say you can't get an article to download, you don't know how to cite a source, whatever it is, you can hop on there and get that immediate help that you need. You are always welcome to reach out to me. My email is djohnson106. It's also on the research guide. I'm happy to help you, but I do have to answer those questions in between classes. So again, I know when I'm doing my research and working on my assignments, I generally want help right away. So that chat is a great way to get that help on the fly that you might need. Okay. I want to show you a couple of other ways you can get help from a librarian, and then we'll go over a couple of more things about the webpage and then jump to the research guide that we have built for this class. Okay. As you scroll up the page, we do have our Ask a Librarian button. Let me just show you this page real quick. When you get to this page, it has a lot of features on it. We do have some frequently asked questions. You can search them here or scroll over here and browse the facts. So that thing that I just went over about how to use Google Chrome and erase your cookies in your history, that's in there. So if it's common, we may have popped it in there and it might answer your question. In addition to that, as you scroll down the page, we have our Ask a Librarian or email form. If you prefer email, please go ahead and submit your question to email. Or maybe you don't have time to do the chat. You're in between classes, you have a question, submit that email. We answer those as they come in throughout the day. And then if it happens to be after hours, let's say it's Sunday night, it's 11 o'clock and you're working on a project, you need some help, go ahead and submit that question. And then the first librarian to log in the next day can get back with you and answer your question. So it's just a way to get it in the system. In addition to that, one other feature that I want to point out to you guys is scheduling an appointment with a librarian. You can always do that if that's something that you would find beneficial. We are always happy to have you in the library and happy to help you when you come in. If you come into the library on campus, right as you walk in the building, on the right-hand side where the circulation or information desk is, generally there's a librarian sitting right there that can help you. If for some reason no one is sitting there, please ask an employee. They will find you in a librarian. We are happy to help you. But sometimes it can get busy over at the reference desk, and you may have to wait. So that's why I recommend you might want to schedule an appointment. I know that your time is valuable and important to you. A lot of you guys work and have responsibilities. So let me show you how you can do that. You would just click to this link. Once you get to this page, you select the location that you would like. Do you want to have your appointment in person in the library or online, whatever your preference is? Let's say you select online meeting. I've even done online appointments and the students are in building B, but an online appointment was more convenient. So whatever your preference is. Go in. I did not see the online calendar for geography listed here, but you can go in and select student. My name populates here. One of my other librarians does as well, or no preference. Pick out the date and the time that works for you. Maybe you want an appointment on Friday the 13th at 11 a.m. Continue through the form. Once you get to this page, select let me know what class you're in and what your topic is. So whoever your librarian is, they can prepare ahead of time and meet with you online or in person, wherever that appointment is. So take advantage of that if that's something that you'd like to do. We can do individual research appointments, or if it's a group project, we can do an appointment with your group as well. So I do appointments with students and professors all the time. So take advantage of that throughout your career at GGC if you need some help. Okay, let me close that real quick. I'm going to go back to the library webpage. A couple of things I want to point out to you real quickly. Study rooms. Do you guys use the study rooms here at the library? Any of y'all? A couple of you guys do. Okay. If you're unaware, we do have study rooms on all 3 levels of the library. Guys, this is the busiest semester I've seen in 4 years, and those study rooms are getting booked. So make sure you go in and make a reservation to reserve the space that you need. You would click to this link that says study room reservations. Go in and select your location. We can just look at them all today. There's a little bit more availability today because it's Friday. There's less students on campus, but nonetheless, a lot of them are already booked. Go in and select the room and the time that you want. I could select this one, and then I'll submit my times. It will send me an email confirmation. You do need to reserve a study room. If you go in and use a study room without reserving it, you might get booted out because someone can come behind you and make a reservation. So please, please, just make that reservation. You can do this 2 weeks in advance of the time that you need it. So think about, okay, I've got a project coming up, or I need some study time, whatever you need, and go in and make that reservation so that you have the space you need. So that's study rooms. One other thing I always like to bring up real quick, under the services section, we also have interlibrary loan, okay? If you come across a book or an article that you need for a project or for personal reading, and we don't have it, we can borrow it from another library. So keep that in mind. If it's a book, it will come straight to the circulation desk and you will check it out here. If it's an article, we'll send you an email and a link to that article and you can download it. So keep that in mind. Just because we may not have it here today doesn't mean we can't get it for you, okay? And especially those articles. Sometimes when you go into access an article, it'll have what they call a paywall. It'll say, pay $30 to access this article, okay? Please do not do that, okay? Contact a librarian, figure out, ask him, say, can you find this from another resource, another database? If we can't, we'll just have you fill out the form and we'll get that to you, and there's not going to be a cost involved. So keep that in mind. Do not pay that fee. I cannot reimburse it. Just go through the process, request it, and we will get it for you and you will have it, okay? That's called interlibrary loan. Again, we can do that for educational or recreational reading. Maybe there's a book series that you want to read and we don't have it. We can get it from another library. Okay. Any quick questions about the library or the services before we jump to the research guide, guys? Anybody have a question? Okay, so let's go find that research guide. From the library homepage, under the resources column, the fourth link down says research guides, okay? Click here. Once you get to this page, find the subject area of geography and global studies and click to this content area. Once you get here, we are Geography 1101 Henderson. Let me show you guys that one more time, okay? From the library homepage, scroll down the page till you get to the fourth link, which says Research Guides. Once you get to this page, find the subject area of Geography and Global Studies, and then find your guide, Geography 1101 Henderson. This is the homepage for your guide. It will be available for you all semester. As you scroll down the page, I do want to show you my information is here. You can click to my library profile. This will take you to, you can grab my email here. You can make an appointment with me if you'd like to. You just click on this link. This takes you right to my calendar and you can schedule an appointment with me. If you want an appointment and you don't see availability, then send me an email and I will fit you into my schedule. Or if you don't have time for an appointment and you want to work by email only, we can do that too. So whatever works, okay? Also, as you scroll down the page, we do have all of the links, all those different ways to get in touch with the librarian are listed here, so you can grab one of those as well. This homepage is just kind of a reference background page, kind of fun information. I have topics on human geography, things in human geography listed. I have a word map on human geography to help you think about some of the different concepts related to human geography, and this will click you to reference information as well. This is not a scholarly, this is not a peer-reviewed source, it is scholarly, but it's just background information if you want to go in and grab that. And I have some databases that can give you some information on culture and country information as well. Now, as you scroll down the page, I do have some sources on population resources. These are from .gov, so they're good if you need to grab some population information sources. One that comes up is the U.S. World Population World Clock. You can pull that up and it will it's showing you the U.S. population and the world population, and it's constantly being updated. You can go and look at that. And population by region, by ethnicity and age, and all that. So it does give you some good information, and it breaks it down by state if you're interested to look at that information. This is from the U.S. Census Bureau. That is a .gov site. Okay. Let me close this real quick. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do today is go in and look at the Getting Started Assignment Details page, okay? The PDF for your assignment details is uploaded here, and a couple of the due dates are listed. This breaks it down. You're going to be working on an annotated bibliography. You have to find 4 types of sources. This specifically spells out the type of sources that you need, so I'm going to show you how to find each and every type of source that you need for this project. Okay. Also, as you scroll down the page, there is a selection of research videos. If you need more in-depth help on how to do research, you can certainly go in and use these videos. They're all they're like 1 to 3 minutes long, and they're little cartoon graphic videos on research. Okay. So where I'm going to start right now is Kaufman Library Resources. So we're going to jump here. And this is where you're going to find databases to find those scholarly peer-reviewed articles and links to ebooks as well. Okay, so let's jump in and start looking for some information and show you where to find that. On this page, I have several databases listed. These are multidisciplinary. They cover all sorts of different content areas, and that's often a good place to start. Okay. Also, as you scroll down, I do have links to all the geography and global studies databases and the A to Z databases, the entire list. I think we have about 252 databases at GGC, so we have lots to choose from. All right, so what I'm going to do is go in and do a search in Academic Search Complete. It's one of my favorite comprehensive databases, and it will be a similar search experience in any of the other databases. So I'm going to click to this database here. And this takes me to the home page of this database. Once I get here, I can start typing my words into the search box if I want to, but what I recommend that you do is to use the advanced search feature. In this database, it's below the search box. Sometimes it's above the search box, or it might be in the menu options. It's going to be there somewhere, okay? Once I do that, I click on the advanced search feature. The reason I like this is because it gives me different search boxes to put my terms in, whatever I've chosen for my project, okay? And what we're kind of doing is, like in a math class, you're going to create a number equation. I'm going to make a word equation, okay? And I'm going to put these different words together to find my topic for my project. So what I'm going to do is start typing my project in. So I'm going to look at human geography. And you'll notice when I start typing my words in, it gives me a drop down of other words to consider. So if this was a direction I was taking my research in, I could select any one of these. I like that it gives me other words to think about, okay, because I might not would have thought how to phrase all that. I'm just going to leave mine at human geography today, okay? And you might have other terms you've already selected for your project, all right? So what I want to look at is human geography and family. So I'm going to type in family, okay? So I could go in and put family relationships. I could leave it at family. I could put family dynamics. I could, whatever I'm choosing, however I'm choosing to do my research today. So I'm going to leave mine at family, and then I'm going to select the search button, okay? And what I can do here, at any time, I can continue to add to my search or take away from it. If I need more search boxes, I would hit the plus sign, add more to it. I can continue to do that. Okay, I get this many results, 723, which is a lot. I'm glad to know that there's a lot of content out there, but let's start scrolling through the content, okay? So what I can do here is limit this to full text, okay? What that means to me is I have access to each and every piece of information on this page. Instead of where it says find it, going to find this in another database, I want to see what I actually have access to right now, okay? So I'm going to click on the find it, okay? And it's updating. I may have to refresh this, I'm not sure. Okay, so by doing that, it limits me. It got rid of a bunch of results that I don't have to go find elsewhere, okay? One thing I want to talk about is limiting your publication date. So sometimes you'll go in and do a project and your professor may say, limit this to the last 5 years, limit this to the last 10 years, whatever. There's no parameter on this project, but since I have such a huge result list, I can go in and limit my results so I can get more current information to look at. So I'm going to go in and limit that. I'm going to put 2013 on my search. That way I'm looking at information that has been created or published within the last 10 years. Okay. Also, one thing that you have to do in this project is find peer-reviewed sources. So I'm going to click here and click on peer-reviewed. And let me explain what peer-reviewed means. Peer-reviewed means that that information has been vetted by other subject matter experts. So when, let's say Dr. H goes and does some research, and he wants that published in a journal, which is a requirement of professors, he'll go and he'll send that out to the editor of that journal. They will send the information to subject matter experts in the field who will weigh in on that information. And they will look at it, and they will agree with some of it, and then some of it they may say, well, this one portion, maybe it needs more research, or it needs more statistics, it needs something else to add to it. So they create this conversation where they go back and forth between Dr. H and the editor and the subject matter experts. I've seen things published, scholarly, and peer-reviewed anywhere from 3 months to 7 years. It can take a good amount of time. But what happens at some point is they'll reach an agreement and they'll publish it, and that becomes scholarly and peer-reviewed. What does that mean to you? This is good, verifiable information. When we see that you use scholarly peer-reviewed sources, it gives validity to what you're trying to say in your paper. And we know that we can count on that verifiable information. And if we repeated that research, we would get similar results. So it gives a lot of credibility to what you're trying to say. We're not just going out and grabbing some random information off the web. This has science and methodology and facts behind it, so we know we can count on the information. And so that's what the type of information. That's why, as being scholars in college, we want you to use these good, credible sources, and you have access to them at GGC. So that's kind of what that means. So this database gives me the option to limit to peer-reviewed. So that's going to help me select my scholarly peer-reviewed source. Also, as you scroll down, just make sure all of your source types are academic journals. You will only find a scholarly peer-reviewed source in an academic journal, but these are it's already limited for me. As I scroll down the page, sometimes what I do is I also limit my research to the language or languages that I'm fluent in, and I recommend that you do that. You can click on language, then you click on the show more category. Select the language or languages you are fluent in reading, writing, and understanding, because most of us don't have time to go out and translate, okay? So I'm going to scroll through these languages. I'm only fluent in English out of these selections, so I'm going to update that. That way, everything I'm looking at, I can understand, okay? So I have a pretty good result list. I can go in and limit this further if I want, or I can just kind of start reading through my top titles to see what those titles are. Sometimes just by reading the titles, it will give you an idea and a different direction that you might want to take your research. You know, you'll start reading something, you'll be like, oh yeah, I like that. That's more interesting to me, so I want to take that focus or whatever. So I can start going through here, geographies of youth. That sounds very interesting. I'm just looking through my different categories. I kind of like this one. Animals in the Family, mini special issue, historical graphical review. Okay, I kind of like the fact that this one is human geography, family, and animals. So I want to click on that one. Once I get to this page, this is the record page. It tells me who my authors are, and often it will give me their affiliations. This is a great way to go in and just vet whether it's a scholarly or peer-reviewed source. So I'm looking at my authors. As I scroll down the page, it tells me my author affiliations. This author works at Royal Holiday in London, and this one works at Durham University in the United Kingdom. So I know that these are professors. It just gives me an idea of the authority that they can speak to this subject. If I want to know more about them, I can do a web search on these authors. In addition to that, this is in the History of the Family Journal. If I am uninformed of this journal, I can do a web search on it, and it will tell me if it's a scholarly peer-reviewed source and how they vet their information as well. Once you kind of qualify your article, I recommend that you scroll through, and if the abstract is on the record page, you go in and read the abstract. If you don't see it listed here, then pull up the PDF. Always go in and qualify your article by reading the abstract or the summary, however it's termed. It's usually 1 to 2 paragraphs. It'll take you a couple of minutes to do it. The reason I want you to do that, it will give you an indication of the content that's inside of the article, and from there you can decide if it's something worthy of your research. I would hate for you to read a 15 or 20 page article and then realize it does not have the type of information you're looking for. So by reading this abstract, it will definitely save you some time. And then if you like it, what I recommend that you do is you go in and email it to yourself. Click on the email button. Even if you download or print this article, I recommend you always email it. You have an extra digital copy inside of your email. Put your email in and then select citation format, which would be APA for this class. That way, when you email it, you get a copy of the PDF, you get a permanent link back to the article, and a great APA citation that you can copy and paste, okay? So I totally recommend that. So let's talk about citation real quickly. And also, one thing I noticed, well, I don't see it now. I don't see that feature. Some of our articles have the feature where you can listen to it. It will read it to you, but I don't see that here at the moment. Okay. Let's talk about citation. Here's the citation tool. I can click here. We want to make sure we grab the APA citation. So this is the APA citation for this one. This is actually a really good citation. Everything looks very accurate to me, okay? What I recommend that you do if you want this citation though, is that if you copy and paste it from here, it's gonna have a gray background and a funky font, okay? If you copy and paste it from the email that you've sent to yourself, you have a clean citation and you don't have a gray background and it's a great place to copy and paste it. Then make any adjustments. This one actually happens to be a really good citation. I'm not seeing anything I need to adjust to this one, but there's the listen to feature. Okay, so I could listen to this article. What I will tell you is if you're using an older article, some of the older articles will put this is the DOI, the Digital Object Identifier. It's basically the permanent link to that article. Some of the older articles will have the DOI in APA 6 style. You need APA 7. This is APA 7. So always just double check all of your information. Again, these are computer generated. So I often see capitalization and punctuation errors because they are computer generated, but that's easy to fix, okay? You've got the basic information here, copy and paste it, and then fix anything that needs to be adjusted, okay? That's citation. Let's go look at the article real quick. So I'm gonna pull up that PDF. Again, if I've emailed it to myself, I got that PDF. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. As I'm scrolling through here, it's giving me information. You'll also notice a scholarly peer-reviewed source is going to have citations throughout it. They have done their research. They're showing you where they got their research and their information from, okay? And I'm going to keep moving through this particular report. And then as I scroll down this article, I will also have a vast reference page. So again, it's showing me where all of these references came from. This is another good way to do research. If you found a really great article, but you're struggling to find a support article to go with it, look through your reference page. You could certainly use one of these. We can never quote off a reference page, but you could go in and find this original article, and then you would be able to add that to your research. Okay, so that's something you can certainly do. One other thing that you can do, remember, I want an article that is relevant to my topic. I want my article to talk about my topic over and over again, multiple times. I don't want an article that just mentions my topic once or twice, okay? So what I can do is use my Control and my F key on my keyboard. What that does, I just created this search box, okay? So this search box, I can use this to search a PDF or a web page. This will help me qualify my article. So I'm really interested in human geography and family and animals. So I can type the word animal in. I want to see how many times animals is listed. So animal or animals are listed 133 times on this particular article. That's pretty content heavy in my subject area, definitely. So I would say based on that, as long as it has all the other things I'm looking for, this would definitely be a good article for me to use. If it mentioned animal once or twice, I probably would not want to spend my time reading it, because if it only mentions it once or twice, it's not content heavy. Okay, let's go back to my result list. Let's say I liked this result list, but maybe I wanted to narrow this down a little bit. Maybe I only want to look at human geography and family in the United States, for instance. I could type in United States, and it gives me a drop down of different terms to consider for the US. I'm going to select this one because I don't know how that might be phrased in another article. One article might use United States of America, one might use US, one might use USA, I don't know. I want to make sure I'm inclusive of them all, so I'm going to click on that. And then what I'm going to do from here is click my search button because I want a more narrow focus. What that does is that limits me. Now I have fewer articles to go and look at, but it's a more narrow focus, so it's a better search experience, hopefully. From there, make sure that any limiters that you have put on your search, sometimes it takes my limiters off. And it looks like it took off my English limiter, so I just have to add that back in. All right. But let's say, okay, this is looking good, but I don't have time to go through all these articles today. Okay, right? What you can do is go through here, click on the share button. This creates a drop-down menu, and I can copy and paste this permanent link to this search. So I can email it to myself, I can save it in a PDF. So let's say this weekend I'm going to continue my research. I'll click on that link that I just created, and it has saved my research. There's those 93 articles that I had found. Now I can go back through here and pick up where I left off. I can look at all those articles again. And if I really liked it, I could take all of the terms that I had originally used and drop those in another database. Just copy and paste them, put them in another database, and see what other kind of articles I can get. You will get a different search result list in every database because every database subscribes to different terms. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how to go in and search for the scholarly peer-reviewed source. Let's go back and let's just grab, I'm just going to grab one of these real quick. Let's look at this one. Okay. So I'm going to take this one. You also have to find an article within an article. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is copy and paste. Let's say this is the article I liked. I'm going to copy and paste the title of that. I'm going to go back to my research guide where it says open access and government sources here. There's Google. I'm going to show you Google in a minute, but I want to show you Google Scholar. So I'm going to take that title of that article that I liked. I'm going to drop it in here. I copied and pasted it, and I'm going to search for that in Google Scholar. Okay. So what I can do from here, it gives me all sorts of tools in Google Scholar. I can see how many times other sources have cited this article. So I can click here, and this pulls up a list of other sources that have cited that article. Okay, so I can certainly do that. And it depends on the context of the article. It can be relevant. If I found a source, and I did the other day, I found an article that had been cited like 2,000 times. That probably means it's important and I want to pay attention to it. But it also just depends on the context of the search. There may not be a lot of research on your topic. This one was just published in 2022, so not a lot of people may not be aware of the article. That may be why it's not cited so many times. I don't know. Okay. Also, in addition to that, I can click here for related articles. So let's say I really like this one. I'm going to click on it, and it gives me a list of 100 articles that are similar or related to that one article I just pulled up. So that's another way that you can go in and do research. So that is one of the things that you have to do for your projects. So we just looked at finding. Right now I'm going to go back to the Kaufman Library resources page. So I demonstrated how to find Academic Search Complete, and then I took an article title and dropped it in Google Scholar. The next thing I want to show you how to do is to find ebooks. Okay. So we're going to go search the Guildford catalog for ebooks. I'm going to type in human geography. And one thing about the databases, if you come up with 0 results on your topic, please make sure you double check your spelling. The databases are very accurate, and so they're not intuitive. You know how like when you type something in Google and it says, hey, did you mean this? And you just click on it. The databases don't do that. They just say it doesn't exist. Okay, so make sure you type it in correctly. I'm going to look at human geography and ethnicity. So I'm just going to type that in. And this gives me 302 books, ebooks, and videos. So what I'm going to do is limit mine to full access online because we have way more ebooks that are current than we do in print books. We're actually getting rid of a lot of our print collection. So here's our ebooks, and then I want to click on books because I want to see what books we have. So now I'm limited to human geography and ethnicity ebooks only. As I scroll down the page, I can also limit that publication date here so that I get more current information, such as 2013, and apply that filter. And then I can go in through here and also limit this. These all happen to be English, okay? So now I can start scrolling through my titles and finding one that's of interest. Friendship and Diversity Class and Ethnicity, any one of these books that I'm interested in. Let me just demonstrate one to show you how easy it is to access one. So I like this one, Names, Ethnicity, and Populations, Tracing Identity in Space. So I'm going to click here. This takes me to the record page. What I'm going to do to access this book, where it says View Online, I'm going to click on one of these databases to get the full text of the book. So this pulls the book up for me, and there's several different things I can do. I can download the book PDF, I can download the book e-publication, or I can come over here and just scroll through and separately look at the different chapters. I can search within the book as well if there's something I want to skip to or search the book. That's why ebooks are kind of cool. It helps you do that. Here's a chapter on ethnicity, language, and populations. Here's a chapter, let's see, the geography and ethnicity of people's names. That sounds kind of cool. Maybe I want to go through and look at that. And then I can pull it up. Again, it gives me an abstract, and this is just pulling up this one chapter only, but I do have access to the entire ebook. It just shows you how easy it is to access these ebooks and go in and use them and read them. And then I can, again, I can search this book for anything I'm looking for. Okay, so let's go back to the research guide. We just looked at Academic Search Complete, how to take that article, drop it in Google Scholar, and look for other similar or citing within a source. And then we just looked at ebooks. So the one thing I have left to do is to show you how to find a government source. That is the Open Access and Government Sources page. You will click here. I did attach this report, Where Are People Moving? This is a Census Bureau report. It's a .gov. But I want to show you how to search Google for a government source. So what you can do is copy this site.gov here. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to type my terms in. I want to look at human geography. And in Google, you can use the and sign to put words together, or the plus sign. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use plus ethnicity. And then I copied and pasted that site.gov. So I'm going to add that to my search and then just do a search in Google. Okay. So this is a Google search. What it's doing, it's limiting all my sources to a .gov. That means everything I'm pulling up should be a good .gov source for me to use, because you do have to have a government report. So I can go through here. This is measuring racial and ethnic diversity for the 2020 census. Population, more racially and ethnically, it's another census report. Classifications, race and now it is pulling up this National Geographic. You can't use that one because it's a .com. Racial and ethnic identification, National Institutes of Health, which is a .gov. So it is giving me links to a lot of .gov sites. I don't know why this one is specifically not. It should only be pulling up .govs, but I don't know. Yeah, I got rid of that space, and now it's only a .gov. Maybe it was the space that it was doing. So now I've got a couple of different, I've got archives.gov, ed.gov, southcarolina.gov, so it's pulling it up specifically by state. And that's something you could do. We could pull up georgia.gov if we wanted to. But if I just want to go in and look at this, I'll click on this particular resource and it pulls up this report. It gives me the information on how they got their information, and then I can actually go in and read it and pull the information from there. So that's how you can do that. So we're going to go back to the research guide. So again, we've gone over how to find scholarly peer-reviewed sources, books, cite a source within a source, and also a government source. So you have all the information here. And then as you scroll down the page, I also have APA citation help as well. So you can go to this page. There is a specific page on bibliographic citations. You're creating your annotated bibliography, and journals, books and ebooks, and government sources. So if you're citing your journal, you can click here. It tells you all the elements that you need to include. It shows you the format to set up your APA citation, and then it gives you an example of different APA citations as you scroll down the page. So you definitely have the help here for that. I also have an APA citation tutorial that I made. So lots here. I'm happy to take any questions. You have about 7 minutes left, so you can start searching for your topics. I definitely recommend you bookmark this research guide on your device if you're using it. That way you don't have to go in and search for it the next time. Again, I can take questions. I can help you find your topic, or you can always reach out by chat, email, make an appointment, whatever you need to do. So, lots of information here, but it's all in the guide. It will be here for you to use the entire semester. That's it. Yeah, sure. That's what on the Kaufman Library resources page, when I went in and did academic search complete, that's what we were doing. We were finding the scholarly peer-reviewed source. So let's go in. What's your topic? Okay. So we're going to do manufacturing. I just want to see if there's other terms for that in United States. So I'm going to put that in manufacturing or industry. How about this one? Manufacturing or industrial or production or trade? Maybe.
And you guys, with other topics, what she's doing, mixing up your search words, the alternate words.
Yeah, those synonyms can be really important. Changing one word can get you the result. Like one day I was helping a student, I don't remember the main topic, but they said, you have nothing on this and old people. And so I changed old people to elderly and geriatric. And we got it's sometimes just changing that one word can help them. So let's see what we have here. Okay. Doing the search. Okay. Well, we have tons. We definitely have to limit this. So what we're going to want to do, let's limit to full text. We're going to limit this to peer-reviewed. That's going to help us find that peer-reviewed source. Maybe we want to limit this to the last 10 years. Maybe even the last 5 years. You have so many results here that it's going to be a lot. Okay. Also, as we scroll down the page, we're going to limit this to academic journals. Academic journals is where you're going to find your scholarly peer-reviewed source. And then maybe language. You want to leave it on English, or okay, we're going to put English in. Okay. So again, we still have a ton. We probably want to figure out another way to limit this because it's such a huge result list.
My topic is so broad, can easy like pop cars.
Yeah, automobiles. Yeah. Maybe automobile industry or automobiles or cars or vehicles. I'm not really sure. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's see what happens. And that's what you do. Keep playing with it till you get to the results that you need. So now we have, well, you saw our original search, over 1 million. Now we have 291. So that's definitely doing way better. It did take my language off. I have to go back and add that. Sometimes when you change that search, it takes your limiters off. Then you can go back using machine learning methods to predict electric vehicles in the autumn. I mean, that's interesting and very relevant. It just depends on how you want to do your research, From here, you can just start scrolling through and finding what you need, and you may find a direction to go simulation-based performance. That's kind of interesting. And if you see results that you don't like, for instance, if it's even though we put United States in, it might pull up a bunch of other country information you're not interested in. You could always add another box and put not. So if it's pulling up something you're not interested in, you put not, and then it will negate those results too. Yes.
Quick interjection on the geography side. You might put a location or a region or a state or something like that. I don't know if there's anything in Georgia.
There might be. We can look. Or southeast. So let's see if anything comes up with Georgia. We get 6.
Oh.
There you go. So that helped us really narrow that focus down. And now you can go in and see how this relates to Georgia, which is pretty cool to be able to do that. So do you want me to send you this result list? I can do that.
What a deal. That's what you get for asking for.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
It's not about this.
Okay, what's your email?
Yeah.
MB
UTTS.
Yes.
BUTTS?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Like what would you put in?
No, your question's really good, especially those that have a broad topic. You can go in a different direction within the parameters of the topic. You could talk about other things. What was your topic? Dominance. Yeah, she could look in other parts of the world. It's useful for everybody. If you haven't done your presentation, any of the sources that you find here, you can use them as sources for your presentation. But you don't have to. It's just that the topic's the same. That's the connection.
So we can do part of the rest of the first part of the but
The thing about the bibliography is any of the sources that you find have to follow these rules. Peer-reviewed journal, government sources. Yeah. Anything else? We're out of time. Guys, thanks to Dana.
You're welcome.
Monday. Here's the sign-in sheet. You should got to sign in.